All right, hello everybody. Miss Lynch here. Um, let's see. I think I was set up and ready to go, but we are here for chapter 28. This is our final lecture, and we'll see how long this goes. I think I will be able to do it in one video rather than a two-parter. So, okay. The copy I have saved that I uploaded for you all is I guess I lost my Keynote copy, my edition of this, and so or version. And yeah, so I just have a PDF copy, so you have to scroll through. You can't. Yeah, you can't. Well, yeah, you can. Look at that. All right. Anyway, so if it's a little wonky to look at, I apologize. Okay. Well, let's see. Last thing we talked about for chapter 27, um, Bush, George W. Bush, um, is elected to the presidency in the year 2000, and that election was problematic, turbulent to say the least, and we kind of left off getting into the new century. So that's what chapter 28 is about, a new century and new crises. All right, which the first thing that, marks the first crisis of the new century is 9/11. So the September 11th attacks. Okay, so Bush before September 11th is our first talking point here. So we know that he won by a narrow victory. Like I said, this was a turbulent election. So yeah, he won by a narrow victory, pursued a strongly conservative agenda. Um, he emphasized freedom of action, which was unrestrained by international treaties and institutions. He rejected the Kyoto Protocol, 1997, which was related to global warming. Okay, so going into his presidency, that was kind of his reputation. All right. Okay, so the September 11th attacks happen in New York, um, Pennsylvania, and DC, and an outpouring of popular patriotism uh, occurs. This makes sense, right? Okay. So the Bush administration benefited from this patriotism as this unifying uh, factor. Okay. And so Bush told the United States that freedom and fear are at war. Okay. And this kind of brought in what would become known as the Bush Doctrine, which will kind of define, his time in office and the aughts, those years in, well, the United States, but also within over regarding international affairs. Okay, but so the Bush Doctrine. All right, so this doctrine immediately emerged. This is the war on terrorism, and Afghanistan will become a pretty big focal point for this. All right, so yeah, 2002. Uh, you know, not too long after September 11th, Bush identified Iraq, Iran, and North Korea as the axis of evil. Okay. Okay. So confronting Iraq. A conservative group within Bush's administration welcomed an American invasion of Iraq to oust Saddam Hussein. This group seized on the attacks of 9/11 to press their case for an Iraq invasion. Okay, 2002, Bush administration announced that a regime change was necessary in Iraq, promoting this overthrow of Hussein because he was amassing weapons of mass destruction. So I'm sure you've heard that terminology before. Again, this will be kind of a hot button topic for Bush's presidency. Okay, weapons of mass destruction. Okay. All right, so this takes us into the Iraq War. Okay, so yeah, it was warned that a war in Iraq would deflect attention away from the administration's real foe, which was Al Qaeda. Okay, and the decision to go to war split the Western alliance and inspired a massive anti-war movement. Again, this will become a defining factor uh, of W's administration. Okay. Okay, in China, Russia, and Germany and France all refused to support a preemptive strike going into Iraq. Okay, so this is 2003. Okay, so Bush called this Operation Iraqi Freedom. Okay, so playing on those keywords, um, supporting, well, truly American exceptionalism at its core. But we talked about this all semester: liberty, freedom, democracy. Okay, so putting freedom in the title of this plan, you know, um, is very strategic on his part. All right. So, calls this Operation Iraqi Freedom, identify its purpose as defending our freedom to bring freedom to others. Okay. Again, keywords. So, an attack is launched in Baghdad, falls within a month, and Bush, no, I took that picture out, I guess. Okay. So he gives his famous mission accomplished speech where there's a banner. You may have seen this image, and I think it's in the textbook of a huge banner that says mission accomplished hanging behind him. Again, this is 2003, so we know that issues in the Middle East are ongoing. So 2003, this mission was not accomplished by any means, okay? All right, but so that happens. There is chaos in that area, looting, sectarian violence happens, and there are a lot of comparisons um, to that being the new Vietnam. Okay. All right. Okay. So the war and the world. So rarely in its history had the U.S. found itself so isolated from world public opinion, I should say. And the Bush administration's rationale for the war was discredited over time. All right, which is where we stand today, looking back at things. All right, so the aftermath of 9/11 at home. All right, so Congress rushed to pass the USA Patriot Act. It's conferred unprecedented powers of law enforcement agencies. And we have the establishment of Guantanamo Bay, the detention camp in Cuba. So that is established as a way, this attack on terrorism, right? Okay, so November 2001. So going back a little bit, this is 2 months after 9/11 attacks, Bush administration issued an executive order authorizing the holding of secret military tribunals for non-citizens deemed to have assisted in terrorism. So going to this next slide, it's just creating more power. Okay, so power of the president, sorry, singular. Okay, well, actually plural, I guess it's gone through multiple administrations at this point. Anywho, okay, so many regulations of the CIA, the FBI, and local police forces were rescinded. And while some of these measures had congressional authorizations, many had been unilaterally implemented by the president. Okay. All right. So again, something which this is all interconnected, but another defining um, Another defining incident that will be associated with Bush's administration um, will be the torture controversy. Okay, so all right. So the Bush administration insisted that the U.S. need not. Sorry, let me see if I guess this is in there. Okay, my notes are different. I guess I updated this. Okay, so the Bush administration insisted that the U.S. needed to not be bounded by internal law in regard to the war on terrorism. This this is something that hits back to that Vietnam connection that I was talking about. All right, that degree of power being given to the president in moments of um, terrorist attacks. Okay, but so the prisoner abuse that was going on at Abu Ghraib that will come out, and this was revealed in a series of pictures of U.S. soldiers abusing um, prisoners in a manner of ways. But so this is revealed. These pictures come out. But so this undermined the nation's claim that the U.S. was civilized. What it claim to civilized rule of law, so that we were being ethical. That's what it comes down to. But so this is revealed, and this is anyway, it's representative of other issues that were going on, but it's not fully representative of all soldiers involved in this conflict. Okay, the same thing could be said with My Lai in Vietnam. Okay, so again, lots of parallels coming out at this time that were going back to Vietnam, because this was the first time within generations that this had anything like this had really been seen. Okay, so the full extent of the torture policy did not become known until 2014, right? When a Senate committee produced a investigative report. Let's see. Okay, so after, so going throughout the aughts, there is a pretty severe economic recession. Okay, so we were just kind of starting to pull ourselves out of this whenever 2007, 2008 rolls around. So I will get to, um, I'll talk about that here in a moment. But there was a huge loss of manufacturing jobs under the Bush administration. Okay, okay, so 2004, Bush is reelected. Long story short, okay. Again, narrow victory. It's not the most popular of presidents. Now people kind of view him as like a lovable, bumbling idiot of an